or smaller organization like America's snowboard team where there's 4 athletes and there's 2 coaches and that's it. A decision needs to be made. It's 6 people total that need to make that decision, and it doesn't have to go through a coach and then the head of U.S. snowboarding and then the head of U.S. skiing. It's just there's no hierarchy that's involved.
It's you, your team members, your coach, and
yeah, exactly.
Pretty much it.
And that takes a lot of the stress out of it for an athlete because you know exactly where these decisions are coming from.
Okay, now this is something that I wondered about. I think the last Olympics, it seemed like the United States sent a big bunch of freestyle competitors and 1 or 2 race competitors.
Yeah.
Why was that? Was that because they felt they had a better shot with freestyles to win a medal, or were the racers just didn't have good enough times to go?
Well, both. It's a combination of both. Historically, the U.S. has always been dominant in freestyle over the rest of the world. I mean, we've always that has been our niche. That's been where we've led. Where classically the Europeans have always been very dominant in racing.
So we stack the deck in freestyle.
So we stack the deck in freestyle,
but
and it's also
that's
based
to your
on
disadvantage, then, right?
It is. It is. It's to my disadvantage and people who compete in Alpine because the way it's going to break down and what happened is they added an additional sport. They added border cross. And then they didn't add any additional quota spots. And where we sort of get an unfair shake is for snowboarding, they consider all of snowboarding as, say, a discipline. You have, I believe it's 16 or 18 spots now divided up into 3 disciplines and men and women. Whereas skiing, there's so many more spots in each discipline. You have downhill and super G and slalom, and they combined, they get so many more spots based on those individual events where all of ours are lumped in together. So you're not only competing against other alpiners, but you're basically competing against freestylers and border crossers overall for those Olympic spots. And what the national governing body does is they'll look at it and say, okay, well, we have the best chance of medaling in freestyle, and we have a better chance of medaling in border cross. So we're going to for sure send 4, and the max you can send is 4 people per discipline per gender. So you can send 4 men and 4 women for half pipe, and you can send 4 men and 4 women for border cross, and 4 men and 4 women for alpine if you were to max it out. But of course we don't have that many quota spots, so they have to sort of divide it up and say, okay, well, where are we going to go? So this year we'll probably get 2 to 3 men and 1 to 2 women to go for alpine.
Okay.
And the last Olympics we had 1 male and 2 females go. So, and even with that we still won a medal. Rosie Fletcher won the silver medal. So if you look at as far as the number of athletes go, we still hold our own.
Okay. We have a little slideshow that you brought to share with us. And so we can take a look at this slideshow, and if you want to make any comments about some of the pictures we're seeing here, that'd be good. And I guess this is some of your adventures that you've had on the snow this season?
Yeah, a lot of these are recent pictures. This is training at Mount Hood. That's my head coach, Rob Roy, who's from Bend. And you saw Ian Price earlier. This is GS training.
Is that you?
Yep, that's me. This is all up at Mount Hood, and that's slalom training in preparation for the first World Cup that we just had over in Landgraf. That's our team having good times up at the top. And that was really unique. That's a cat ride we'd get up in the morning. Mount Hood did a great job, and they weren't open the last 2 weeks we were training, but they stayed open for us. They would groom and provide snowmobile and cat rides for us to be able to train. So it was a really cool experience.
That's Switzerland right there?
Yep, that's actually one of the locations of the last World Cup, last Olympic qualifier. And then that's a shot of when I won both the PGS and parallel slalom championships.
That's a national championship?
2008, yeah. And that's a shot of.
And so Mount Hood, you can snowboard there in the summertime.
Yep, yeah. This was just about 3 weeks ago.
And Chris Klug, now he had a battle with cancer, didn't he?
Actually, he had a rare liver disease, and he had a liver transplant in 2001.
I saw a surfing picture there.
Yeah.
So you're into surfing now too, huh?
Oh yeah, I love surfing.
So you got to come down to San Diego next summer and surf with me then.
I do. I will. Okay. We actually went over. We had a week off in between our 2 training camps, and we went over to Cape Kiwanda in Oregon and surfed for a week.
With the white sharks, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty sharky actually.
Who did you surf with?
With Adam Smith, who's a good friend of mine. He's on the U.S. national team, and Chris Klug. And Klug's he's originally from Sisters, Oregon, and his wife and her family, they were all there. So yeah, we surfed for about a week, and floundered around, caught a few waves.
Okay. Yeah, you got to get down to the warm waters.
Yeah.
At San Diego in the summer, no wetsuits.
I've only surfed one time without a wetsuit. That was actually, we were visiting our other sponsor, BCF. They're based out of Virginia, and we went surfing with a few of the guys from the company there. We were able to surf without wetsuits.
Now I know one of your closest friends is Forrest Coots.
Yep.
And Forrest was a ski racer for Mount Shasta High School and he was actually a state champion also.
Yeah.
Mount Shasta's had some big-time success in skiing and snowboarding. And Forrest told me he surfs with you, too, a little bit.
Yeah. We actually had a great little surf trip down. We surfed all along the coast of California here down to Huntington Beach for a friend's wedding. And, we loved it. And, it's a good sort of balance to what we do. He's an extreme skier. Now he competes on the World Extreme Tour, and it's nice for us to sort of be out of our element.
Get away from the snow for a change a little bit. Yeah, well, that's good. Yeah, Mount Shasta. I mentioned that Forrest was a skier in the ski program that was really strong here. Talk just a little bit about some of the history of ski racing and snowboard racing in Mount Shasta, which has made. I know Forrest told me that. He calls Mount Shasta raceboard Mecca, and that means that you see more raceboarders here than any place else. And we can go back and look at some of the history here of the snowboarding in this area, and particularly the race history. And I think you're one of the pioneers of raceboard riding and carving and so forth at Mount Shasta in this area. And speaking of Mount Shasta, I do have to remember to point out that we have some sponsors here. Mount Shasta Ski Park is one of our sponsors for today's show, for this program.